Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Abushad. In this video, we are going to see EKSCTL, how we can use EKSCTL to create a EKS cluster. Okay, let's get started. EKSCTL is a tool developed by VWorks and AWS. This is specifically to create the EKS inside AWS. Okay, so EKSCTL will invokes cloud formation stack, as you can see here in my diagram. It invokes cloud formation stack, and in fact it creates a EKS cluster. When we say it creates a EKS cluster, it creates all the components associated with EKS cluster. This is the reason why I have shown you in my previous videos how we can create a EKS cluster manually, so you get the understanding clear. So when you use some automation tool like EKSCTL, you will be sure that what are the components it is going to create, and this will gives you a better understanding, and you will not harm the existing system by creating something which is you are not intended to create. All right, so this is very important to understand. It is very important to understand the concept first before you make use of any of the automation tool. So in my previous video, I have already shown you how we can create EKS cluster manually, how we can create a node group manually, how we can create IAM roles, how we can create dedicated VPC, etc. All right, and we have seen in some brief about the security group as well. Okay, so if you did not see my previous videos, please go and watch it. So it will give you a better understanding about the EKS and the components around it before you go and make use of EKSCTL. Okay, so EKSCTL invokes the cloud formation as I told you, and it creates the following things. It creates EKS cluster, it creates a worker node group, it creates dedicated VPC for you for the EKS cluster, it creates some security groups, it creates IAM roles. Okay, and these are some of them. And inside, already know that in dedicated VPC it creates a private and a public subnet. Yeah, this is actually creates a public and a private subnets inside the VPC. And then the NAT gateway, elastic IP, network ACLs, route tables, internet gateways, all those things. So you have already seen this in my old videos. Okay, so these are the some of the major components it creates, EKSCTL. Now we will go and look at the documentation. Let's go back. Let's search for EKS using EKSCTL. Getting started with Amazon EKS. All right, so it says about the prerequisites kubectl, which we have already seen how we can install kubectl, and EKSCTL. Okay, so we need to know how to install EKSCTL. So let's go and see that first. Okay, in we are using Linux, so this is the command to install it. Okay, let's do this now. Let's connect to our client machine. Okay, let's run these commands. Okay, let's move the TM EKSCTL where this is downloaded. You can see TMP. Yeah, EKSCTL is here. So we are going to move this EKSCTL to user local bin. Okay, so we have moved it. And let's see the EKSCTL version. Okay, so it is showing that. That means our EKSCTL is now installed. Okay, to verify this EKSCTL get cluster. Yeah, now cluster found, and it is able to the command is able to search inside our AWS and was able to see the EKS cluster details, and it is reporting that there are no clusters. Okay, so that means our EKSCTL is working fine. kubectl we have already seen, and AWS CLI we have already seen before. We can configure this. So this is the same machine. So EKSCTL is now installed, and now let's go back one page back, and let's see. We are going to use manage nodes, Linux manage nodes. So it initially says to create a key pair, okay, with some name. So as you have seen in my old videos, we are not accessing any of the node in the node group for any administration task. We are using our client machine, which is the controller client machine, which has all the tools, and we uses that specific machine to connect to all the EKS and EKS worker node. So this specific creating a key, we are not going to do it here. Okay, so if you have any requirement, like if you want to log into the node groups and then do some administration task inside the node group, you can go ahead and create a key and then use that key to log in. There are many other ways to log into the node group. It is not only creating a key pair, but key pair creation is the best practice, and you have to follow that. But in case if you have any requirement later stage that you need to do it, you need to log in. You can do it in other ways as well. Okay, so this is the one single command to create the EKSCTL. So it says about creating cluster and with a name, with region, with OIDC. This is the identity and the SSH access. It's enabled SSH access with the SSH public key. Okay, so let's go and see in our terminal what EKSCTL create command says. So let's say EKSCTL create cluster transfer. Okay, so it says about I mean it displays a lot of options when we say help. So let's see some of them in details. It says about minus minus name. This is the cluster name. Tags, if you want to have any tags, region, AWS region where you want to create this EKS cluster with OIDC, enable the IAM OIDC provider. This we will see in my future videos. I will show you what this stands for and how we can make use of this. Okay, to have our Kubernetes service talk to the AWM services to create application load balancer, etc. So at this moment, we are not going to integrate our Kubernetes to any of the advanced AWS components. So we are not going to involve ADC here in this particular demo. Okay, and the version, you can specify the version. I guess the default, yeah, it is the default 1.20 as of the time of this recording. Configuration file, load configuration from a file. If you want to create a YAML file and then load that to this create cluster command, then you can do that as well. PPC controller timeout Fargate. If it is a Fargate profile, then you need to use Fargate. If it is dry run, if just you need to get the YAML out of the create command, then you can use dry run. And the node group name. This is the name of the node group. Without node group, if you want to set, that is also possible. So it will not create a node group. Instead, it only creates an EKS standalone master component. Okay, node type. You can mention the node instance type like T2 small or T3 small or T3 micro, whatever you want to mention. You can mention it here. Node, how many nodes you need. By default, it is two. Minimum, how many nodes minimum? By default, it is two. Node maximum, by default, it is two. Node volume size, if you want to add some volume, you can add it here. Maximum port, node volume type, SSX, you have seen that. SSM, node AMI, if you want to use any specific AMI. All right, and then you come here, node security group, any additional security group if you want to add it to the cluster. Okay, this is the managed one. Create managed node group. Okay, by default it is managed. Even if you don't mention it, it is managed. Okay. Uh, okay, all right, and these are some of the other options. You can see a lot of options are here. Kube config, etc. You can path right kube config. You can mention that. By default, it is the home and then .cube slash config. All right, so let's go and create our cluster. So we'll give name. Sorry, name is Shad EKS. Then we will say node group name. Yeah, node group name. Say worker node. Then we will say how many nodes we want. So before that, we will mention the region. Okay, let's keep it in the same uh, format. I mean, let's give that in the beginning region. Even you can mention it here as well. At the end also, but let's give it here. Region US East one. All right. Minus nodes minimum and nodes maximum. Let's keep it one, everything one. Okay. What else? SSI access. We are not enabling that. Anything else if you want to add? I guess no. We can say managed, but by default takes the managed option. Okay, all right. Let's create this. Okay, I will mention the node type. Node type. Let's mention node type. I want T3 micro. Sorry, T3 small. T3 small is enough, I guess, for this demo. I mean, it has a 2 CPU, 2 GB RAM. So this should be fine. And I guess it gets some around 12 IPs. That means you can create 12 ports. So that should be enough. Okay, let's see now. Let's enter this command and let's see what other things it invokes, and let's see in the background what it is going to create. Oh, okay. Only one argument is allowed to be used as a name. Okay. Uh, okay, all right. Okay, fine, fine. Minus node max one, node type three small. Okay. Okay, so it is invoking uh, cloud formation. Let's go to our AWS management console and let's see whether it is invoking the cloud formation. See, you can see it here clearly. It says we'll create two separate cloud formation stack clusters and the initial manage group node groups. Okay, let's go. Okay, okay, now cloud formation. Okay, yeah, create in progress. You can see it here. EKS cluster. It is getting created now. Okay, we need to wait for some time. Uh, I guess it takes around 10 minutes of time to create EKSCTL. I'll pause this video for now and we'll start it again after it completes the creation of EKS cluster. Okay, so now our cloud formation has completed. Cloud formation template has been completed and our EKS CTL command also executed completely. And you can see here it has been completed. The EKSCTL create cluster command has been completed here. And if you go back to the AWS console, you can see the cloud formation completed as well. All right. So let's look at some of the outputs here from the EKS cluster, EKSCTL command. So it created two subnets in two availability zones. One is US is 1B and 1D. Okay, so it created a public and private subnet. You can see it clearly here. Public, private. It has created two subnets in 1B and 1D. And then it created a node group worker node with the default AMI. We did not specify any AMI, so it took the Amazon Linux 2 AMI and created the worker node. Uh, and it uses Kubernetes version 1.20. All right, creating a case cluster in US East 1, region is US East 1 with a managed nodes. And it says that it will create two separate cloud formation stacks. Okay, for cluster and then the initial manage worker node group. Okay. If you come down, you will see that it created first cloud formation is for the cluster. You can see it here, and that get created completely. Then the node group for the form cloud formation for node group, and that is also completed successfully. And then you can see that it saved the kubeconfig file in our home directory under .kube. Okay, so it says all EKS cluster resources completed, worker not completed. So yeah. So let's see now. Let's run the kubectl get command and see if it's working fine or not. Yeah, it's working fine. So you don't have to do anything manually apart from just running the command. It will do everything for you, even copying the kubeconfig file. Okay, now it's created. Everything is ready. Okay, now let's go back to the console. Let's see here. As it mentioned, you can see two cloud formation stacks have been created and these are executed completely. So this is one for cluster and for managed nodes. Okay, now let's go to the EKS console, EKS service. Let's go to the EKS service and let's see the clusters here. Cluster is created. If you go inside the cluster under configuration in compute, you will see that worker node is created with one decide size is one. That is also created. Nice. So let's go back and see the IAM roles. Yeah, IAM roles are created. You can see here couple of them for EKS and EC2. These are we have seen this in our management console in our manual method using a management console. That is, these are the two ones, and These are the service link roles for EKS, EKS node group. These are some of the IAM roles it creates. Okay, now let's see VPC. Okay, so two VPCs are now getting displayed. That means this is the one default and the other one is using EKSCTL. It is mentioned, it is clearly, it has a prefix with EKSCTL. So you can see it here. It is created one VPC, dedicated VPC. Subnets, there are two subnets created. I mean, four subnets, one for two for public and two for private in each availability zone, 1B and 1D. Route tables, NAT gateway, everything. I guess these are the things. I guess you know already that these are the things it gets created. Okay, so go back Elastic IP, everything Elastic IP should be there. Yeah, NAT gateway. Yeah, network ACLs, security group. All right, okay. So you can see here security groups are also created. Okay, what else we want to see? Let's go to the table diagram and see here IAM roles. We have seen dedicated VPC, we have seen security group, Docker node group, EKS cluster. Yeah, we have seen it all. Okay, so here I just want to show you. It says that you can enable it with EKSCTL util update cluster logging. If you want to log, if you want to edit or create a logging, CloudWatch logging, you can do this. And if you encounter any issue, CloudFormation console, go to CloudFormation console or try this command. Okay, let's go and do this. Describe and see what it's saying. Okay, so it gives you information about. See here, IAM service account created, AWS load balancer controller, EKS ETL version, cluster name, etc. So many details you'll get it here. Right. So all details, whatever the cluster has created, you will see it here. Okay. So I guess we have seen everything here. Now it's time to just remove our complete setup. So let's see the EKS ETL cluster minus help option. Okay, so the general flags is my name, region, force, weight, etc. Okay, so let's try this. Delete cluster minus name. Guess. Okay, and minus region. US is one. That's yeah. Okay, so it started removing the cluster, and that's it, guys. It will completely remove the entire EKS cluster and whatever things EKS ETL has created for you. So it will be a clean removal. You don't have to go and remove anything manually. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.